I feel like we did short shrift to Rajiin.
Mm-hmm. No shorter shrift than the shirt she's wearing. Hey-o.
No, she changes outfits a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where she got all the clothes from. She runs off with Archer wearing like a bikini made out of twine.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden she's got like fashionable. Maybe is there a fashionable pajama store on the Enterprise that we just don't know about?
It's Hoshi's side hustle or something. I assume.
I mean,
yeah, she changes clothes constantly for someone who had nothing and ran away with them. I mean, I can't even really break down what the problem is there, because I don't think that her sexuality ties into anything really. Like, there's no, the point of her power and what she does to the crew doesn't really have anything to say or do about the episode itself, which is largely based on the Xindi plot, I think, of like the Xindi trying to get this information. So Rajiin is doing this plot where you could do it with a tricorder. There's no reason for this sexy time stuff.
Where is she going to hide the tricorder, Wes? There's not a lot of room for a tricorder in a twine bikini.
Send over an incredible police sketch artist who could just sketch out what these people look like. You know, it's not even like I don't think that the show whiffed on its theme and was like, oh, they didn't lay that on heavy enough, and I think they could have gone. I don't think they have anything to say whatsoever. It's just like, we'll just have a sexy woman show up and rub Archer up and down and rub T'Pol's midriff. And they go, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
I was more interested in like when she starts making eyes at Hoshi, I was like, oh, I would be interested to see Hoshi in a relationship with a woman for an episode, just like casually, and like it would have been. I would have thought that's a more interesting story to me than whatever this was.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think is the Did you see any upside to? She doesn't come back. I looked it up because I don't know whether it's fair or not, but I was like, if she comes back, maybe I don't have to be as harsh on this as I am going to be, which is not really fair for how we generally cover these episodes. But I kind of had to know, like, is she returned? Is that something
they named the episode after her.
Named after her. She doesn't come back. She's mentioned in one upcoming episode. Archie goes, this is like what happened with Rajiin, I think, in some upcoming episode. So if anything, that knocks the episode down a little bit more for me, especially because you see her at the end in the Xindi Council, and she doesn't want to betray Archer. And the guy's like, you better tell us about the bio data. And then she does. And it's like, I guess it all just comes down to how bad that plot was, where I laughed out loud when she just eventually cracks in the brig and tells Archer what he wants to know, because there's no reason to tell him. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he's just like, tell me. She's like, no. Okay, wait, hold on.
All right, these reptilian guys, it's like, it's so unearned and so silly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. They put a lot of focus on her for no reason other than the titillation factor. She's not an interesting. She goes through no interesting character change. Like, it's not her wanting to save them at the end feels like it's born out of nothing.
Was her origin story that she tells Archer true? That she's a sex slave from birth and doesn't remember her planet or anything like that?
I don't know.
If it's not true, why does she care about what Archer did for her? If it is true, what a strange agent for the Xindi to hire.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a species power that the Xindi would know that the species can do this. It just seems weird.
I assume, I'm going to say she must really be a sex worker. Sex slave. Sorry. Sex worker implies that she has
a W-4.
Yeah. Or, agency of any kind. I'm going to assume that she was a sex slave, because I think the implication is that the Xindi swung by her pimp and probably contacted her at that point and recruited her.
But did they know about her powers, or is that just a helpful side effect?
I assume they must have.
Okay.
It's a weird kind of line to draw, but that's the only way I can make sense of it. Is that because they mentioned that the Xindi were there, and they specifically head over to the pimp guy to talk
also
about
the pimp is not in on it though, because the pimp tries to stop this from happening, which is the strange. The Xindi, going by your thing, I would say the Xindi would pay the pimp to say, you let her go with them. Here's the payment for it. You know, that doesn't seem to be the case though.
Yeah.
But doesn't she make eye contact with the pimp too? When Archer's like, no, I don't want a sex slave, and he walks away. I think there's a sequence where they look at each other like the plan isn't going the way that it's supposed to be going. But then the pimp fights for her, and I don't understand why that happens instead of just letting her go.
Yeah, no,
I might be misremembering, but
the only eye contact I remember is between her and Archer. Because at first I thought she was a character we had seen before and that he knew her or something. I didn't realize that she just had sexy stroke powers. But yeah.
Is she underexplained, do you think? Are her powers underexplained to the point where it's an issue, or is it just...
I don't think it's an issue. I just think it doesn't matter. Like, would explaining her powers make the story any better?
No, it wouldn't. But is it sexy? Is it a sexiness thing, or is she just kind of like shining a light on, what is it? You shine a light on a deer or something and it can't run away? Like, is it that kind of a power, or is it that people find her irresistible?
It seems to be some sort of irresistibility, because Hoshi seems into her. Like, they don't. She doesn't just get up close and scan her. They go and they have lunch together. It's a little bit slower for that kind of relationship. Which is why I was interested in this episode being more about Hoshi realizing that maybe she likes girls.
Hoshi goes to lunch.
Yeah.
Hoshi has a box lunch.
my dinner with Rajiin. But yeah, I think there's sexuality implied with her powers because of the way they manifest and stuff, and it makes the attack on T'Pol fairly disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
another
weird one.
Star Trek rape thing.
Rape. Yeah, mind rape. They love mind rape in the show, in this franchise.